Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Cookie and Cream Podcast. I'm Mike Seamus Reed.
I'm Wayne Peoples.
What's going on, Cookie Monster?
Nothing. Just chilling. You?
As usual. Yeah, same old shit.
Yep.
All right, folks. Quick announcement before we jump into the show. You can now actually officially support the Cookie and Cream Podcast via Patreon.com. That's right, Patreon.com/Cookie and Cream Pod. The entry-level membership is $2 a month. That's it. It's $2 a month. You won't even notice it's missing from your bank account unless you're like a fucking drug dealer or something. I don't know. You won't even notice unless you pay really close attention to your money, like a crack dealer.
Or Yakuza boss.
Maybe. So look, $2 a month, people, for all our fans. If you want to support the podcast, go to patreon.com/Cookie and Cream Pod. $2 a month. That's all it is. That's the lowest level tier. That's all we'll ever encourage you to do. There are tiers above that. There's a $10 tier. There's a 25 or 30. There's a 50 if you want to be a VIP sex machine. But you know what? We're average Joes here, and we're not going to look. $2 a month is all we're really going to promote. Okay?
Yeah,
it goes way further than you can imagine.
That's right.
And with all that being said,
that's right. With all that money grabbing being said,
we have a guest on.
We do.
We have a guest. We're very happy to have her on. Please welcome Liv. Hello, Liv.
Hello,
What's
guys.
Up? Hello.
Thank you for having me on.
That's all right. Thank you for coming. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. It's our pleasure. So, Liv, why don't we just kind of turn it over to you for a second? Just give us a little bit of an intro about yourself, and I understand that certain things we're not going to get into specifically.
Like your last name? This is Liv Tyler, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm breaking the rules. Liv Tyler was on the program.
Yeah, I was unsure what we were going to discuss, and then Mike kind of threw me in the deep end last week, so thank you.
I told you. I owe you a kick in the vagina, Mike.
You do.
That's fine. So yeah, as Mike said, pretty much kind of I think this is where we're going to end up talking about it. I was a correctional officer for about 3.5 years. Pretty much jumped into it straight out of school, and I've since left. But yeah, there's some exciting tales, a lot of life lessons, and it's certainly not for everyone. And for the people who do it and continue to do it, props to them.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
So it all came about because of the botched episode Mike and I did with his lifelong friend who's in the military, right?
That's correct. I was listening to it, and one thing that I think is, hearing you guys talk about it, people need to hear the real stuff. People need to hear, what people go through when they leave and when they're in active duty, and hearing you guys talk about it for me was really inspiring, and I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there who heard it who thought the same thing. And I messaged you, Wayne, and kind of said my thoughts on it. And
so what stood out for you, like in that, so that like something that we were talking about that you were able to relate to?
Yeah, it was interesting. I've kind of, from my experience, perhaps struggled to put things into words as to how I'm feeling. In terms of you spend so long doing a certain job and you're really proud of a job, and then, it doesn't necessarily meet your expectations, which was something that really stood out that you guys were saying. And then you leave and, you kind of have to reintegrate back into a normal life. And just hearing you guys talk and say things that were so similar to what I had felt but didn't necessarily know how to vocalize and how to put it, listening to it, I was like, wow, this sounds so similar. And yeah, it was really, there was one thing in particular that your friend had said, Mike, where he was like, if the army could have only been what I hoped it had been. And that was exactly how I felt, and I'd never heard it said like that, and that just like still sticks in my head to be like, that's very true. That's very similar to how I feel now.
Wow.
Well, it's interesting
Yeah.
because I do feel like most jobs, like no matter what you're doing, it's probably not going to be what you expect when you're first getting into it. Now, obviously, there's major differences in the fields that people get into, but I'm curious, Liv. So, like you said, you got into the corrections field pretty much straight after school.
Yeah, I was 19 when I joined.
19. So I'm very curious. So going into a field like that, now even at the time, you probably knew that you were going into not only like a male dominated job, but also being a corrections officer. Obviously, if you think about I mean, I'm kind of biased as an American. Like I just kind of know the system over in our country. I know it's heavily male dominated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Generally speaking.
Yeah, you're correct.
Sure.
So I'm just curious as to what kind of led you mentally into like, okay, I'm going to dive into not only a male dominated occupation, but also in an environment that's not only dangerous, but heavily male dominated. I'm just wondering how you would go about diving into something like that.
Yeah, so I kind of from a young age had always had the aspiration to be a police officer.
Makes sense.
I've got a few family members and, kind of follow the family bloodline. And I, at the time, actually had applied for the police and corrections at the same time and was going through recruitment for both. And corrections just happened to be what came up first. And it was a great opportunity, so I jumped at it. I was kind of... knowing it was male dominated, yes, I knew, but it wasn't really something that concerned me. Right. Call me a bit, I don't know, what's the word? Naive. And being 19, being 19, I certainly was naive. But yeah, I joined, and you do see the male dominated environment, but the benefit is that everyone backs you. Everyone is there to do the same job. Everyone wears the same shirt. Obviously personalities, there's conflict. Not everyone's going to get along, but at the end of the day, you're all there for the same purpose. You're all there to do the same thing. And it's very,
that's good to hear.
Brothers and sisters, brotherhood. It doesn't matter at the end of the day.
That's good to hear. So you're saying that any other females listening to the podcast, that are also thinking about getting into corrections or the police services should not feel discouraged because of the male dominance factor.
I don't think so. From my experience,
that's awesome.
There will definitely be times where, as a female, you're going to face things that the males necessarily won't. And, I'm sure in female prisons, there are things that the males face, Mm-hmm. So keeping that in mind, but it's one of those situations where you go into it and you kind of go, I'm here and I'm here to prove something, and I can do this, basically. It is a job where, unfortunately, males are going to have the upper hand just purely based on, body type and strength, and, there are physical demands that men are going to be better suited for. However...
Well, she just said men are better.
I did not say men are better. However, following up, women are better communicators, and that's where our strength lies. And that is something that you really need in a job like this.
Yeah,
you need communicators.
For sure. So you knew what you were getting into. What were you like? What did you think your biggest challenge was going to be? And like, what is it that you were looking forward to do? Like, what is it that you wanted to get out of it as well?
So I very much intended it to be a lifelong career, which in the end was not the case.
Mm-hmm.
I very much got into it. The reason that I looked at police and corrections was, again, perhaps a bit more naive, wanting to help people and wanting to, change people. And again, not necessarily what I signed up for. But that was my intention.
That's not naive, though. That's
It's
just
not.
that's just being a good person
Yeah.
and being exposed to the realness of what the world is.
Yeah.
That's all. You're not naive, not one bit, thinking that going out to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Never naive.
So can I assume that going into that field, you as an individual believe in there is such thing as the rehabilitation of someone who is incarcerated? Not everyone, obviously.
Not everyone.
Not everyone.
Certainly not everyone.
I don't think Charles Manson could be rehabilitated.
I could. No. Yes, there's a long list.
Charlie, did you just carve a swastika on your forehead? You fucking right, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I feel like there's opportunity if people are willing to take it, but at the same time, there are people who will never change. But at the same time, I also looked at it from a perspective of, okay, if I'm here and I'm doing my job, then that's keeping the community safe. That's keeping people on the outside safe. So
fair enough.
That's good.
Good.
That's really good. So you were helping the people that were in there, but you were also helping the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of my perspective. It's interesting, kind of the way I viewed the job when I first joined to the way I viewed the job, by the time I left was very, very different, just through experiences and kind of things that had happened. But you live and you learn. And
so what was the turning point then that you saw, or what happened that led you to walk away from it?
So I think
you don't have to get specific. But,
no, that's fine. But I think, and Wayne, you'll understand. In these
not you, Mike.
Mike.
You fucking
love you, Mike. Don't listen to him. It's fine.
Well, goddamn it, I'll just sit this one out.
Yeah, you just enjoy your freedom.
Love you, Mike. But yeah, I think when you go into these jobs, you are prepared to see things that you aren't necessarily going to see in a civvy job. And I worked in maximum security men in Sydney Metro. So obviously, without going into details, there were a number of incidents over the years that happened, and it's very well documented that people in these industries and military, paramilitary, first responders are going to get affected with serious mental health issues. And unfortunately, I was someone who did get hit with that stick. I kind of, after a few years into it, got diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and then probably maybe 2 months before I left, a colleague of mine actually said to me, Liv, you just don't want to be here anymore. And I really didn't. And it wasn't that I didn't want to be here. It wasn't that I didn't want to do the job. I loved my job. I'm proud of my service. I always will be.
Yeah, good.
But I was in a really, really, really bad place. I was becoming really aggressive. I was becoming really suicidal. Like, there were many things that happened that just should never have happened, because I was too scared to reach out and say I need help, which again is, big taboo. You don't talk about mental health in industries like this. About 2 months before I left, I started looking for my way out, and I went to them and said, look, can I go part-time? Can I go casual? What can I do? I just need to get out. And I didn't really disclose the reasons behind it. I was just trying to get a way out.
Are there any programs set up to assist people in your, not just people in your situation, but correctional officers in general? Like an employee assistance program type thing?
Yeah, we have EAPS. However, I personally am not a fan of them, just from things that I had seen from that program, and things that I had seen other officers go through with that program.
Yeah.
That kind of wasn't the direction that I was ready to go. I was at this point seeing a psychologist on the outside, but I think for people who haven't been through these situations and these scenarios, it is difficult to grasp.
Yeah. So I wonder, I wonder then, because like there's through Veteran Affairs, VA benefits and things like that. They always set up like group meetings with former military service members
Hmm.
because you hear it from them. You're not hearing it
Yeah.
from someone that has a degree, and you're just like, motherfucker, you haven't had a grenade thrown at you. You haven't had to dodge a rocket launcher,
Yeah.
right? So they tend to. Um, they have more empathy and sympathy because, all right, this person knows what they're talking about it. They've been through it. They've come out the other side. So, is there any program like that for correctional officers, or is it just
Definitely not.
people? So it's just people with diplomas spitting what they learned through a
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
See,
Um,
right,
and
right.
again, what happens and what is supposed to happen are two different things.
Yes,
Um, which I won't go into, but yeah.
yeah,
I kind of. It's interesting that you say that because I'll just kind of skip to the end. I ended up going off on work cover
right,
with like psychological injuries.
yeah,
I had gone to my boss pretty much at the end and just said, I'm quitting. I'm done. This is ridiculous. I've had enough. And he asked me why. And this was finally the point where I was like, I am now at an impasse of it is my career or my life. So if you continue to say nothing, there is nowhere for you to go. So I did. I kind of said everything that had happened, and I was in the office for hours. And by the end of it, he just said to me, "You're not quitting. You need help. That's why we have work cover. You need help. You need to get treatment." So I ended up going off, and their treatment plan for me was to go into a psych hospital as an outpatient and do exactly that. Wayne was to
yeah,
go and sit in a room, and lucky for me, the group was military first responders, and
hmm,
hear all the stories and share all the stories. And that by far was the best form of therapy.
yeah, for sure.
And I
Right.
did,
Yeah,
I think, 12, 24, probably 36 weeks of that therapy
yeah,
every week, going to the hospital, talking about what you'd been through, trauma impact statements, stuck points, all different things. And it was the best thing that I ever did because even now, 3 years down the track, every single day, I still use those skills that I learned.
Well, I
that's
imagine
fantastic.
being in the same room as people who actually can relate to you, there's no way that's not beneficial.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is incredible. And I was someone again who had seen a solo psychologist for many, many years, and in a few weeks at group therapy, I had gotten more than what I had from years of solo therapy. Not that I'm saying solo therapy doesn't work.
yeah,
However,
yeah.
hearing
Of course not.
stories from other people who have been through similar situations is so empowering, and seeing not only their recovery and what they've been through, and if they're in front of you, then it's inspiring, and if they're behind you, then you sit there and you go, mate, I know exactly how you feel. I've been there.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like you were there to get help, but you being there also helped others.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
I've never been someone to shy away from telling my story.
Hmm.
Will I share it with everyone? No, because of obviously not everyone understands or wants to hear it, and there are people who are probably going to hear this who are still in the job and think that I'm an idiot for saying anything, and that's fine. They can have their opinion. Not that I care.
We don't give a shit on this podcast.
Don't care.
So
Yeah,
Um,
fuck
fuck
that.
them. Fuck them.
yes, I am very much I am happy to share my story. If it can help you in any way, then that's great, because I was someone who was so ill and didn't feel like I could go to anyone because there wasn't really anyone in my immediate circle who had been through it. There was one person who I'm so thankful for because they were inspiring, but apart from that, I had nowhere to go. So if I can even help one person, and this is where I've kind of flipped and now I'm helping in a different way
Yeah.
by telling my story, then great.
So if I could ask you, and again, look, I'm not going to ask you to relive very, very specific situations, but I'm very curious. So obviously, as a 19-year-old, okay, so you're going into this field. You're entering the prison system,
Mm-hmm.
and surely you knew what prison it was most likely going to be, of course. Of course, there's training involved. And so you go through the training, you get into the system, you're, a handful of weeks into the job. If I could ask, is there anything that happened that started to kind of change your mind about, like, is there anything that happened where you go, okay, wait a second, maybe as an occupational choice, maybe I've made a mistake?
So,
and you can leave all names, identities out of it. I'm not asking you to get too specific, but
okay.
If you could shed a little bit of light on that.
So it's interesting, when I went through, could have changed now, we did 12 weeks of training, and then you go into the prisons, purely because, every prison is going to have a different kind of way of doing things, medium, maximum, minimum. Sure. They're all going to be different. Are you remand? Are you not? It depends. So, there's only so much that they can teach you at the academy. You're really going to learn on the job. Mm-hmm. So, finished my 12 weeks, went in. I was lucky enough to get offered a temporary contract straight out of the gate. So I pretty much, everyone starts off as casual, and I was, again, lucky enough to get offered a temporary contract straight out.
So you would have been a standout.
It was common. Let's just say that.
I see.
It wasn't special.
They had a quota they had to fill, did they?
Yeah,
okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So going into this, as you said, Mike, you kind of have somewhat of an idea. There's going to be fights. There's going to be, medical things that happen, and you can only be so prepared. The first kind of incident that I went through, I was 2 weeks in the job, still didn't know what I was doing, didn't barely know how to use a radio, and there was an attempted murder, and that was like my first incident that I had been through.
Jesus
and I just remember chaos. Still to this day, like, I just remember chaos. And it was interesting because the thing about prisons is they're super negative places, so they breed negativity, and there's always some sort of divide amongst the staff. However, when you have an incident like that, it reunites everyone and goes, okay, this is why we're here. So
yeah,
2 weeks in the job, this happened, and everyone reunites, and it's great. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So that was my introduction to corrections.
That's a hell of a first impression.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Yeah. Welcome to jail. Anyway, I'm going to go kill this fucking guy.
Yeah. So, and it was unfortunate because it wasn't just me. There was probably, 8 people from my class alone that were all there that day that all saw the same thing.
Jeez.
So, yeah, that happened. And then, I was fortunate to not go through any, super horrific incidents. I didn't have anything in custodies or anything like that, which I'm so thankful for. But I think the standout for me to go, you shouldn't be here. The particular jail that I was working at had a acute crisis unit, which was for chronic self-harmers. And, these were people that would do horrific things and things that your imagination couldn't make these things up.
To themselves, they would be doing
this. Yeah,
right.
And I remember one day this inmate had severely wounded himself, and we were at the hospital, and the nurses and the doctors were there dressing him, and there was body parts falling out. And I remember looking, and I looked at the officer I was with, and I was like, I was 22 at this point, and I remember saying to them, I'm 22 years old. I should not be here.
Yeah.
This is not the career I should be in. There's so much potential, and it was just being wasted. It really was just being wasted. And again, props to the people who do that job. You do an excellent job.
Yeah.
But
I think everyone out there, yourself included, the props that you guys
But there
deserve.
was there was so much more for me to give, and I was pretty much done at that point. You know, there was I was out, and I stuck around for maybe 18 more months.
Yep.
And just, again, like every single time there would be a self-harm or, you know, a really bad incident, it would just reiterate, like, why are you here? Like, yes, I love my job. Yes, I love what I'm doing, but you're not helping people. You're really not. And it was kind of becoming an internal conflict of going, you got into this job for a reason and that reason isn't being met. Time to move on.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I almost feel like, not just with your former job, but with a lot of jobs, like, okay, just... Not that it compares to yours with what you've seen, but like if you think about you know, like waste collection. Okay, so what? Every week outside of our house, there's a couple of people who come by, and they grab the waste out of the bins and they chuck it in the truck and they move on. Now,
You've been cooking again,
and if you think about the people in that truck, if you were to ask them to be like really honest with you, I think maybe a lot of them would be like, well, no, it's not exactly like what I have always strived to be. It's not exactly the job I've always wanted, but I feel like in that field and your former field and many others, there's that feeling of like, well, look, someone has to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Someone's got to do it. So at least for now, I'm doing it because someone has to.
That's right. And unfortunately, you know, a massive draw card for, you know, my job was the money. You know, if everyone's honest, no one ever wakes up and aspires to be a correctional officer, let's be real. The money is a massive part of why people get in and why people stay.
Yeah, well,
I see. So, and I have no ideas, and I want to ask you specifics, but you're saying that the salary at the time was quite attractive in that field.
Yeah, it was great. You know, like, it was good. And you get paid, you know, this is something my husband always used to say, you get paid for what you may have to do, not what you do. And, you know, 365 days of the year, 340 of them, nothing happens, and that, you know, however many left, shit hits the fan, and that's where you go, I don't get paid enough for this.
Right.
So,
that's right. Yeah, that's true, man. 100% true.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say, I want to get into a little segment like I normally spring on Mike. But before I do, I just want to say this is a milestone. You're our first female guest.
Oh, that's so lovely.
You're the first
I didn't
one.
Even know.
You are. And it's not because we're like, you know, misogynistic assholes.
No, not at all.
This is actually episode 34. We certainly haven't had guests on all our episodes. In fact, most of our episodes don't have guests. But I think, when Wayne mentioned that to me the other day, I was like, "Oh, you're right." And and it's not like we noticed. It's just like, there was a couple of friends of ours we had on first, and it's just there was just kind of a queue. But then when he mentioned it, I was like, you know what? Like that's fantastic. That's awesome.
That's awesome. No,
yeah, that's great.
I'm very much I don't want to say feminist because I feel like that has bad ties to it these days.
Toxic word today.
Yeah. But no, I think it's great. You know, women support women and.
Are we having technical difficulties?
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's certainly our pleasure. And Wayne, if you don't mind, just before we get into this segment, I had another quick question. If that's all right. And it had something to do with what you were saying earlier. Can you hear me?
No, hold on. Let me reload.
Are you sure? Oh, okay. Wayne's reloading. Liv, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
He's back. Okay. Sorry, folks.
Sorry, someone started operating the fucking microwave.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Didn't get your 5G Pfizer jab.
God damn it! Who's on the phone?
Hang up the phone.
A few words you mentioned earlier, just with regards to how the job started affecting you. So you started mentioning things like anxiety and depression, suicidal thoughts, and just basically describing yourself sort of descending into a bit of darkness, right? Mm-hmm. Do you feel, and I'm very curious about this, the environment you were in, those words you were saying, like depression, anxiety, suicide, I can only imagine that those 3 words are actually extremely common regarding how prisoners are feeling, a lot of them. So now I'm curious, do you think interacting, not just like horrific shit you saw, not some of the self-mutilation, that kind of thing. I mean, do you think that maybe interacting in general with people who are always feeling this way, do you think that has some sort of rub-off effect on
100%.
you?
100%. Like I said, prisons breed negativity. There's very little positivity in them. And, that's not through lack of trying. It's just the environment that you're in. It's the people you're around.
Sure. I mean, no one wants to be in prison.
No, that's right. And, yeah, you do hear kind of the same story recurring and the same, horrible things happening. And people, always feel down, always feel... whether it's inmates or staff or even just visitors, it really is a really negative place. I don't know how else to put it. But again, it surprises me that there are so many people who go through it that don't talk about it.
There's still a lot of people. Yeah, there would be a lot of people that don't talk about it. Well, hopefully there's someone that, if they're in the corrections game and they hear this, they, I don't know, might feel obliged to speak out. So
yeah,
100%.
You're still helping. You're still helping.
I hope so.
I guarantee this is on the interweb, on the World Wide Web. There's going to be someone eventually that hears this. Eventually,
I know.
If not immediately.
I said I had to look up the media policy to make sure I wasn't going to get in trouble, actually.
Yeah, Mike. For fuck's sake.
Mike! What are you doing to me?
Well, look, in my defense, on the last podcast, it's not like Wayne handed me a fucking memo.
I didn't.
The memo would have said, don't mention this.
Don't bring it up at all.
Oh, it's fine.
All right, well, let's lighten the mood.
Yeah, what you got, Wayne?
All right, motherfuckers. I want to test the knowledge of prison slang.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
okay.
Is this our prisons or American?
This is what I find interesting because I want to see if it means the same thing here that it does in the States, or if it has no meaning here whatsoever.
Okay.
So the first one. And ladies first. So Mike, you go first. That was too easy. So the first one is all day. What does that mean?
All day.
All day.
Well, Liv, did you ever hear that while you were?
I mean, working? I would just assume it meant all day.
Yeah, see, I would too. Any guesses?
Did you actually want me to go first?
No, well, I think Liv, or whether she's going first or not, she's already given her answer.
Okay. Yeah, I don't
know. She's taking it on face value.
Yeah.
Said all day.
I guess specifically in the prison world, not that I've been there, but I guess I would have to guess. If someone is referring to something as all day, they mean as like a tradition of sorts in that world, a tradition, doing something all day.
No, that's on the football field, man.
Okay.
That's football.
That's kind of where I took it from.
Yeah, I know you did. All day, baby, all day. But no, so anyway, that's incorrect. It means a life sentence. I'm doing all day.
Oh, okay.
They're there for a while. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Here's one. You guys just got to think outside the box. So I'll chuck it to you first, Liv.
Mm-hmm.
So brake fluid. Have you ever come across this one? No.
You know what? I may have, and I've just put that memory in a box that I've burned.
Well, fuck me.
Brake fluid. I feel like it's not going to be like a jail brew or something.
Oh, close.
I
That's what I'm
feel like
thinking.
you have a good kind of guess accidentally, Liv. I have to,
Mm.
because I'm kind of leaning toward like a moonshine kind of thing, but yeah, I don't know.
Mm. I'll let her finish her guess.
Unless it's like, like a boob injection or something. Like an injection?
I will give you that. Ding, ding, ding. It's a psychiatric med.
Okay.
Or, yeah.
Oh,
So,
break. Okay, like pump the
yeah,
brakes.
break.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
break
Yeah.
it. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Mike doesn't even get to guess that one because you got it right.
Well done.
So, Cadillac. Mike, you go first on this one.
Jeez,
'Cause
this
Liv's-
could be a million
Liv's-
things.
Liv's crushing you right now. She's ahead by
Cadillac.
one.
So
I don't know
prison
this one.
slang. Cadillac.
Yeah. Cadillac.
Well, without context, that's hard.
I know. I'm not giving you jack shit. Just
All right, so Cadillac.
that's the pleasure of being the host. I feel like
Maybe-
fucking Steve Harvey right now.
Okay, maybe
This week on Cookie and Cream Few, we got the few.
All right. So people often refer to as like an object. They say, "Oh, this is the Cadillac of this." They always use it as like like a metaphor, right? So I'm gonna.
Yep,
so
you're on the right
here's
track.
where I'm leaning. I'm
the right
leaning toward like maybe someone who's been in the system a long time and has like earned maybe their own cell, and they can have kind of like whatever they want in it. So it's like the Cadillac of cells. So like maybe, yeah, this is my Cadillac.
Okay. All
That's
right.
my guess.
I'll tell you that's a good guess.
Okay.
What do you got, Liv? What do you got, Olivia Newton-John? It's Olivia Newton-John, everyone.
Jesus. Do you know my 5th grade math teacher called me that once and I've never forgotten it. Anyway.
Triggered. Oh shit.
I like Mike's guess. I do. Yeah. The Cadillac, hey? I don't know. Is it something like, are they the head of the yard? Are they like the person who runs the yard? Are they like top dog kind of thing?
Oh, like the
No.
Cadillac on the car yard.
Yeah.
You know what though? It could be, but it's not.
Okay.
It's.
I reckon that was
You're
also
wrong.
a damn good guess.
It was you both of you guys. Yeah, it could be, should be. But so Cadillac it refers to an inmate's bunk. Also, Cadillac job, an easy or enjoyable inmate work assignment.
Oh,
So
okay.
Cadillac's-
Okay.
Yeah. So when you were close, when you were saying like a Cadillac cell, like that was the.
So
that
it's
could be
like
a top-
yeah, something they would consider like a bit of a luxury.
Like yeah, that's right. All right, I'll do 2 more, and these will both throw you.
Oh, God.
So be
These are
prepared
all
for
American,
that.
by the way. Definitely.
Okay,
Never
yeah.
heard
I
any
was
of
gonna
them.
say like
Disclaimer.
this is a bias list.
Oh shit! Wait a minute. I just found another one. I might have to do 3. Okay,
Let's go.
I'll do this one I just stumbled on because I just briefly read them earlier. Okay, Ninja Turtles.
Oh, I know that.
Do you know this?
Yes.
Okay, what's up, Mike?
Mike, go first.
Oh wait, you actually know this one.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm gonna sound like a moron. All right. Ninja Turtles. All right. Okay. Let
That's
me
so
just.
dope.
All right. So the Ninja Turtles, they were like a ninja clan, right? I'm leaning towards like if you were to refer to Ninja Turtles in prison, you're referring to like a gang or a clan of sorts. Am I close? Am I warm?
Well, on the opposite side of, yeah, I guess kind of. But would
Jump
you like
the
to
river.
correct him?
You got to jump the river,
Yeah,
Mike.
you gotta jump the river. You're on the wrong side of the river, mate.
So are the okay? Well, then are the Ninja Turtles the corrections officers themselves? The other side?
Yes, but why?
Oh, why? Oh, ooh, damn good question. I have no idea. Now I'm stumped.
Well, you're taking too long anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
guards.
Correct me.
It's guards dressed in full riot gear.
Yeah.
Right, Liv?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Ninja
I
Turtles.
get it. I get it.
yeah.
The Ninja Turtles come out.
There's generally like especially in Maximum, like an immediate response team who are generally referred to as Ninja Turtles.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
I see.
So
okay.
That has that's definitely crossed the pond because Ninja Turtles is definitely from America.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm just imagining a group of riot officers, like once the situation has been kind of stamped out, that they then just throw a pizza party. Pepperoni, dude!
Oh, dude. What if after the remakes came out, they're just waiting for the doors to open and they just start ticking the sticks? MC Mikey. MC Mikey. Like, dude, you'd be like, all right, I'm going in full Leonardo style, dog. Like, just summon your Intersplinter.
Raphael.
Okay, so this one's pretty funny. I found this one pretty funny. Prison Wolf.
Ooh.
Prison Wolf. Ooh,
Prison
okay.
Wolf.
Wolf.
Liv, you never heard this one?
No.
Oh, okay. What do you think it is?
Oh, okay. So my mind automatically went to like an inmate who is like a lookout or something.
Man, I reckon
okay.
I reckon that's damn close. If I
It's
had to
pretty good.
guess.
It's pretty good.
If I had to guess, I would think.
Do we have a lookout? Surveyed 100 voting people.
So
Is it on the board?
If I had to guess, a prison wolf would be an inmate who is responsible for, like, I don't know, sneaking something in. They have to be sneaky, like a wolf in a sheep's pasture or something. Yeah, like a either a smuggler or they're responsible for sneaking in a weapon. I don't know.
Okay.
That's my guess.
And the survey says no. Prison wolf is an inmate who is normally straight on the outside, meaning outside of jail, but engages in sexual activity with men while incarcerated. You howling at the moon, baby.
That's a prison wolf.
That's a prison wolf.
Okay.
How
That's
did you get
it's
that
a
name?
deceptive nickname.
I guess because you're howling as you're being penetrated from behind for the first time. I don't know. How does that feel? Ow! Ow! Do you like it? Ow! Oh God.
Shit.
Oh.
Okay, I'll do the last one. It also has wolf in it, but think outside the box. I'm doing it purposely to throw both of you. I'll give you the context to begin with. So he's just selling wolf tickets, like in the yard, right? Like, man, that nigga just selling wolf tickets. Okay, so the term is wolf tickets. It's not tickets that you hand out to go fuck the new guy. Be like, hey man, you want this one? He's a cub, but he's good. Like, it ain't that. It's something else. So what is it?
Do you think, depending on how hot an inmate was, he would be considered a blockbuster? Like selling tickets to fuck him? It'd be like a blockbuster around the corner line, like a queue.
Just what?
I'm sorry, I don't know why.
I was thinking of the video chain Blockbuster.
No, like
why
back
would
in the
he-
day,
what?
they used to call movies blockbusters because the line would be around the
Yeah.
block.
Nah,
So
I
anyway,
didn't
sorry.
get that. I didn't get that one.
All right,
I think you
wolf
broke Liv.
tickets.
Sorry, I'm
was
really
frozen.
engaged. No, I was thinking. I have so many scenarios going through my head now.
To be honest, I thought Liv maybe just got up and left at that point.
I think I thought her screen was frozen.
No. I was thinking about a story, but
She
it
wasn't
would probably
moving.
get me in trouble, and it's inappropriate, so I can't tell it. But anyway, it was funny.
You can tell us later.
Okay, I'll tell you off podcast.
You could,
Okay.
you could tell us off air. All right, Liv, what do you
sure.
think selling
So-
wolf tickets means?
Okay. I have a few theories.
Give them all to me.
Yep. Okay. There's going to be a fight, and people are going to watch it.
Okay,
I like where this is
Or-
going.
that's cool. That's
It
cool.
could be something like like, are they trading things? Are they giving out information? Blah, blah, blah. But they're not going to follow through with what's happening.
Yes.
Yeah? The way you
Yep.
said it, I was like, this
Yes.
sounds like there's like deception involved in it.
Yes. So that's exactly what it is.
Okay.
It's to talk tough or challenge others without any intent to back it up with action or violence.
Oh,
So you just-
you're
yes,
selling wolf
see?
tickets.
See, I wasn't frozen. I was thinking.
Shit. She was actually. Yeah. That's awesome.
Well done, Liv.
Thank you.
She kicked your ass, Mike.
She
Shit.
did. Now, may I just say, how creeped out would you be if I just nailed all of these?
Oh,
Like, dude, like, where the fuck have you been, Mike? Like,
Yeah.
if I
You
just
know
knew
what?
them all.
I have this like blanket rule that like I just don't really associate with people that have been in prison. Not that it's an issue, it's just conflict of interest kind of thing.
Sure.
And I had never asked either of you.
No.
No. Well, okay.
If we had been to prison-
I've been in a jail cell once.
We drunk.
No, actually. So so this was, God, I was 21. So this was 15 years ago. I was running a charity comedy show in Bethesda, Maryland. I had had a couple of beers, and the woman I was dating at that time, her and I got into my car after the show. I was driving. We were going down Wisconsin Avenue back toward where I lived. And there was a breath test stop, like an RBT kind of thing. Now, I wasn't worried at all. I had only had a few. I was seriously not worried. At that very point in time, I believe the limit, like if you blew over a .08,
Yeah.
that was like bad. Like you were then in trouble if it was over
Yeah.
a .08.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is I get pulled out of the car. They do a sobriety test where I have to keep my balance and that whole thing. And then they give me the actual breathalyzer after that. It was a .07. Now here's
That's
where
so
the
lucky.
twist
Wait.
is. Here's where they twisted the law at that point in time, 15 years ago in Maryland.
Okay.
They twisted the law to where if you are stopped specifically at a breath test checkpoint, the rule changes, and .07 and above, you're in trouble.
Oh, that's horseshit.
They were just, it was nothing but a money grab. They were
That's Maryland
fucking
for you.
drivers left and right.
Dude,
Left
that's
and
Maryland. Yeah.
That sounds
Right.
like
Piggy bank.
So what ends up happening is they force my girlfriend at the time to take the car and drive it back to where I lived and leave it, and then find her own way home. She had call her mother or whatever. So here I am as a 21-year-old. I had only blown a .07 on the breathalyzer. Now let me make this very clear.
It's not
To arrest someone over a .07, first of all, if you can't drive off of a .07, fuck you, and you shouldn't be driving, and you should be drinking. You have no business
You have no
even
business.
consuming alcohol, you weakling.
Yeah. That's one cruiser.
Honestly.
Like if that.
So I end up going to the police station in the back of a cruiser, and they put me in a cell for a .07.
Damn.
And I
Were
was
they
like,
black cops or white cops?
And
Oh.
the officer who arrested me was a very large Maryland farm boy. Probably played football in high school and college, I assume. Big,
Mike
like
went
lineman, like big, muscular, like probably ran a 4.4 40 as a big
Jesus.
man, you know. And I could tell that as I was sitting in the cell and they were talking to me, I could tell that they thought the entire situation of me being in a jail cell was like fucking stupid and just like a waste of everyone's time. So anyway, I was seriously there for like 5 hours and I didn't have access to my phone. Like they wouldn't let me
So
call
you're
anyone.
you're in holding.
It was holding. So basically, they pull
That
me
shit
out
don't
of my
count.
car at a .07, sit me in a jail cell to quote unquote sober up, as if I was intoxicated at all.
Oh gosh.
So they come to me like 5 hours later. They're like, "How you feeling?" And I'm like, "The same as I was when you arrested me. Fine.
Bored.
I'm fine."
I'm bored.
So anyway, then I finally contacted, someone to come get me. And anyway, it ended up being a $1,500 fine.
Ooh.
Damn, that's steep.
Yeah, for literally just, being an adult. I had a couple of drinks and drove. Oh, fucking God forbid. $1,500 later.
Someone
It's good to know that the Maryland police officers are out there getting the real criminals off the streets.
Exactly. And you know what? I was kissing ass too. Like when they asked me, like, when I knew they were gonna cuff me because of like their body language and they were looking at each other. When I knew they were about to arrest me, they asked me. They were like, "So where are you coming from?" And dude, I started talking myself up. I was like, "Well, you see, just down the road there, I was running a charity benefit comedy show for children who suffer from cystic fibrosis."
Oh God.
Which I wasn't lying.
Oh God. It was the truth.
Yeah, and I used to do after
and they
that,
still arrested you.
They still did. And after this whole situation, I used to do a bit on stage
assholes.
where like I would tell this whole story, and then at the end of it, I would say, "Look, there's obviously a lesson in this story. No matter where you are, no matter how many you've had, and no matter if you can think you're okay enough to drive, the lesson is this: don't support children who suffer from cystic fibrosis."
Oh God. Yeah, that's right.
I did that bit for like a year after the situation. It used to do pretty
Because if it weren't for them, you wouldn't have been out that night anyway, right?
Exactly. So
Exactly.
Thanks.
Jesus.
Appreciate it.
Jesus. So, all right. I'll ask you both.
Yeah, go ahead.
To answer them at the same time. If you think I've been to jail or not.
No.
Yes or no. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh,
No.
all right.
Hell
Sorry,
yeah. Hell
did
yeah,
I jump
you
the
have.
gun?
But my guess would be not like normal citizen jail or prison. My guess would have been like you got in a little bit of trouble in the military, not too much trouble, just maybe one time at a bar, maybe a punch up or something. That would be my guess if I had to guess.
Well, I'll tell you what. America has been my prison, Mike, because my ancestors were brought over in chains
No,
and
here he
shackles
goes.
against our
Christ
will.
Almighty, he's pulling out the
Okay.
red card
But no, I've never been locked up because I'm too slick, motherfucker.
because he got away with all of his crimes.
I do
Hasn't
dirt.
been caught yet.
That's right. That's what I tell people. They're like, "You behaving yourself?" I'm like, "No, I'm just not getting caught." And that's the thing. It's you can be bad, don't get caught.
See,
The
I
thing is,
assume
don't
when
do
people
dirt.
ask
Okay,
Wayne, like in private, they're like, "So why are you in Australia?" Well, you see, I was on the run for a while. I just had to jump on a flight and get the fuck out of there.
Hold on now. No, yeah, it's funny because like people like expect those sorts of stories from me. Oh, so what's it like growing up in America, like being mixed? They usually like expect, oh, you want a gang violent story or some shit? Nigga, no, I worked at a fucking sports store. That's what I did. So,
It
not
is
never been
funny.
to
There's a
jail.
lot of misconceptions and false perceptions of not even just growing up as a particular race in America, but just being like American in general. There's a few assumptions that come with it. Like
Yeah.
people ask me here, like Aussies will ask me, they'll say, "Oh, did you did you own a gun when you were living in America?"
Always, man.
Okay.
How many people have you shot?
And I always
Ugh.
and I always felt uncomfortable by that particular question, not because they were stereotyping, but because I definitely had 2 guns.
Oh,
I was like, oh well, I mean, I'm about to just feed into like their stereotypical assumption.
you were like Will Smith in the Men in Black movie when he got pulled up by a cop because he stole the car. He's like, "Well, you assume because I'm black I stole the car." He's like, "I stole this one."
I was,
But not 'cause I'm
right.
black.
Like I stole this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I must admit, though, just interrupting Mike, I've never ever been like almost robbed here. I was in America for 2 weeks, almost got robbed.
Dude, I hear about it all
I
the
believe
time.
you.
It's frightening.
Yeah. Where was it? Where
We
did
were
you go?
in Vegas.
I
Oh,
fucking
makes
knew.
sense.
We were in
Makes
Vegas.
sense.
Go to
We had
Vegas.
literally gone. We were in Vegas, and okay, this was my husband's story. I wasn't actually there, but anyway, he was in Vegas. I was like at a show, and he had parked on one of the random like back streets.
Oh,
and gone
see,
to like a
rookie
surplus
mistake.
store. Exactly.
Yeah,
Rookie.
no.
He's sitting in his car, and this guy comes up with one of those window shimmies and starts shimmying his car door while Ryan's in the car.
Dude.
I was like, oh my
Holy
God.
shit.
And then he literally just winds the window down and is like, "Are you okay?" And the guy apparently just took off.
That's crazy, man.
Don't
That's
go to
crazy.
America.
Yeah.
Try to steal someone's car with them in it. Can you just move over? Yeah, I'm just stealing your car. Feel free to stay, but I'm taking it.
Kidnapping.
That's crazy, dude. Yeah, that
Holy
would be
shit.
kidnapping then too, wouldn't it? Jesus.
Yeah, I don't think I'm covered for travel insurance for that.
Yeah, and I know you guys don't negotiate with terrorists, so. Oh, dude, Mookie and his boys on the fucking Las Vegas Strip, man. Jesus.
Liv, if I
Yes.
can, I had one more question just
Go ahead.
regarding your former occupation before we get into a little cookie and cream segment that we've been doing the last few months. I have to ask this only because I know this type of inmate exists probably in all prisons. So, did you ever come across an inmate or multiple who, within minutes of meeting them, you said to yourself, this person absolutely does not belong in prison?
No.
Okay, so you didn't
No.
run into like any
No.
inmates who were simply there on like some non-violent bullshit drug offense or something, like something
Well-
bullshit, anything bullshit?
I tended to subscribe to the theory of it's better to not know what they're there for.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was kind of, because if you know, then it not that being biased is an issue, but you do have to remain professional, and there are some people that you just do not want to fucking deal with. Like there are absolute
Right.
scum in the earth, and if I know it's you, then I'm not going to do my job. So I don't know. I don't want to know. Treat everyone the same.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good policy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, hey, shit, fair enough. Yeah.
And by the way, fuck you, Mike, for thinking I've been to prison, you asshole.
Well, I'm
I'm a
sorry,
good boy. I'm not. I just don't get caught. Remember.
To be honest, I'm actually not sorry at all.
I know.
And here's why. It has nothing to do. First of all, here I am like defending myself
explain.
suddenly
Yeah,
on my own,
explain.
on our own podcast. You fucking piece of shit.
He's backpedaling now.
Yeah, he's backing into a corner. Careful.
I typically would assume that of military personnel, especially like friends of mine who are in the military, as friends I know quite well, I would typically assume that at least one time, like minimum one time, they maybe got into just a little bit of trouble, like at a pub or some shit. That's as far as I go with my assumption.
Dude, you've seen me on the football field. You know how fucking fast I can run. Ain't
I'm
nobody
aware.
catching me, dude.
I'm aware.
Ain't nobody catching me. Shit.
Oh, shit.
Anyway, I wanted to ask Liv one question,
Yeah,
not
go ahead,
directional,
please.
not related to your former occupation as a beauty therapist, but I did want to ask you how you came to know Mike and I, how you got
okay.
put onto Mike and myself,
Yeah.
because I'm interested. I like to hear these stories from the fans.
That's okay.
Like I enjoy this type of shit.
So, I first saw you guys at the Icon.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
And I thought you were both really funny. And I was just like talking to my husband, and he was like, "Oh, you should look up Cookie and Cream." And I was like, "What the hell is that?" And Wayne, you had been wearing your shirt at the show, and that was how
Promo,
we kind of
baby.
that was how we made the
Promo.
link.
The
And then,
merch.
you know, I think I friended you, Wayne, on Facebook, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, because I remember you messaging. I think after the show or
Yeah,
day or so later,
something
like-
like that.
yeah, something like that. And yeah, that's how it happened. And you're the one that put us in touch with Whiskify.
I am indeed.
That's
Yeah.
all
No.
you.
Yes,
You know,
right.
I love you guys and your comedy styles and support local business, small communities, get the name out there. Why not?
Yeah, see, that's awesome.
Well,
I love hearing
shit, we appreciate the hell out of that. Absolutely. I mean,
a lot.
anyone who tunes into this show, and you know, we say this all the time. We have a very small but loyal audience.
Yeah,
A very
And this
loyal
is-
audience, and that means the world to us.
yeah.
That means way more to us than a million followers who like just
That's right.
occasionally tune in and
That's
you
right.
know.
And
small
Liv,
and
you're
loyal.
proof of it.
Thank
Proof
you.
right here.
I was,
Chatting with
I
us.
did talk my mum into listening to probably her first and last podcast ever. So
shit.
I'm sorry for what I've said, Mum. I'm very sorry. I'll get a lecture, I'm sure, next week. at
Which
some
one
point.
did she listen to?
Oh, she'll listen to this one, and that'll be
Okay, good. Okay.
Well,
'Cause
you
I
know,
already
I gotta
subscribed
be
that.
honest. If this is the first Cookie and Cream pod she's listening to with you on, come on. There's nothing in this particular episode to really turn her off. Now you could point her to quite a few others.
Oh, I know. I had to tell her not to listen to those ones.
Oh,
She would be- God.
Tell her just wait for the one
No.
I'm on.
In fact,
Wait.
fuck it. Let's party. Turn your
No.
mother
Yeah.
onto the Love Lounge, baby.
Here we go. Hey man, I
You know
got
what?
a special guest
Oh
for
my
you.
God. Whenever I recommend this podcast to people, I always have to say, just be aware it's super offensive and you have to have a really good sense of humor.
Yeah.
But
You
you
do,
know,
though.
I gotta say, like, I now subscribe to the notion that I think most people, I really do still believe this. I think most people who would come into contact with a podcast like this, I really think most people could enjoy quite a bit of it. Because the whole thing of like ultra politically correct and this whole wokeism fucking dog shit and all this stuff that's out there, I still subscribe to the notion that it's a small minority of people. And let me give you a prime example of this because I just read this article this morning.
Oh, shit.
Good segue, and you just reminded me of it. There's a petition to get the movie Split. Have you seen the movie Split?
I
With James
love
McAvoy?
it, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, Wayne, do you know the movie Split?
What is it? What's it again?
Okay, there's a
I think I've
movie.
seen it.
There's a movie starring James McAvoy where he plays a man who suffers from person.
this is
Personality?
this is a tr-
dissociative
trilogy.
personality disorder.
this is the trilogy.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Split's
Split.
fucking awesome, dude.
Split is a fantastic movie. Anyone listening to this right now, if you have not seen the movie Split starring James McAvoy, you have to watch this movie. It's
You
fantastic.
just threw me when you said James McAvoy because that motherfucker does not look like his name is James McAvoy.
No, it looks like his name is I don't know.
Totally
Yeah.
different. Yeah, it just
Yeah,
looks like
exactly.
something else. But anyway, yes, Split's awesome.
It's a great movie. There's a petition to get it removed from Netflix. And
Serious?
okay. The group that created this petition is okay. This is so hard to get through with a straight face.
Max triggered.
The group that has created the petition is a group of people who suffer from the same disorder that character suffers from. It's the dissociative personality disorder, like multiple personalities, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So
So
they
what-
put together a
okay,
petition.
Oh, go ahead.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold
and
on.
then, all right. Yep, go. God,
So-
hurry up.
There's a whole petition with all of these signatures to get the
Yep.
movie taken off of Netflix what they're claiming is, oh, well, this movie uses this disorder that we suffer from as like entertainment value, and it's offensive, so it's this whole dog shit nowadays. Oh, it's offensive. It offends us, therefore no one should see it. The whole world should be shielded from it, right?
Right. Okay. Yep.
Now, let me just tell you.
Okay. Yes, please, man.
Okay. I read this article and I saw that the petition had a shitload of signatures, right?
Yeah.
I look over at my wife and I go, how great would it be if it's just the same person that signed it 100 times?
Right.
As different people.
Right. 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 But then, what if one of their personalities disagreed with what they were saying?
Right. I mean,
Is that
listen, if anyone out there who suffers from this shit, look, I sympathize with you. That sucks. But I'm sorry.
Just switch over to the personality that doesn't have an issue with it.
Just flip the switch. But I'm
You'll
sorry,
get over it.
like it doesn't matter who the fuck you are, what you suffer from, whatever background you come from. I'm sorry if a movie or a music album or if a piece of art, if something offends you, just don't look at it, just don't watch it, and move on with your life. That's my rule. I don't know why these people go out of their way to do bullshit like this.
Dude, we talk about it all the time.
All the time.
And I my best way to put it is I don't like black licorice. So I don't fucking eat black licorice. If you like black licorice, cool, man. We can still be friends.
Exactly.
But I don't go near the I'm not trying to pull it off the shelves. Like break it down as simple as that, bro. So,
exactly.
yeah.
And not to mention, it is an absolutely amazing movie. Absolute cracker.
It's
Hell yeah.
James McAvoy wasn't even nominated for an Oscar for that film, and to me, that is a absolute sin
That's
in the
so
film
bad.
world. That's a sin. I couldn't believe it.
That bitch from Suicide Squad got an Oscar. The black chick. I don't even know her fucking name. She got an Oscar for that.
Wait, for Suicide Squad?
Yes.
How the
dude.
fuck was that movie nominated for anything other
I
than a
have no
Razzie
idea.
Award?
I have no fucking idea.
I have not
But when
seen it.
when I watched Split, I watched it by myself at home in my living room. I fucking stood up and applauded, dude.
Hell yeah.
By my goddamn self in my living room, I stood up and fucking clapped.
And the ending, and look, anyone listening to the podcast, if you haven't seen it, watch it. I won't spoil anything. The ending of it, like the whole build up to what it actually is so well done. The whole thing is so great.
Ghost. He's a ghost.
Right. He was dead the whole time.
Yeah. His name's Bruce Willis.
Oh shit.
Anyway,
all right, folks. Liv, if you don't mind, because we know you listen to this podcast, I think you might be familiar with a mystery fan we have out there in the world who goes by the moniker Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
I am aware.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen,
The segment, is it?
Mad Dog sent in a letter yesterday that I got in my inbox.
I love how you call it a letter.
I was like, who the fuck sends letters?
I'm telling you, Mad Dog sends letters. Mad Dog don't just go half-ass and type some dog shit message, no pun intended on the dog shit, but
Does he send it swack?
bro, like every week a raven lands in my yard and hands me a rolled up letter written by the Mad Dog.
Oh my god. Like the owl from Hogwarts.
Yeah. Or what if it's actually like a big fucking giant on like a tiny moped and his name's like Madrid? Thanks, Madrid. And every time he leaves, he's like, "You're a comedian, Mike," and then he just fucks off. What kind of shit is this?
Oh shit! All right, so the letter this week, and again, anyone listening who is not familiar, any new listeners, first of all, thank you and welcome. But
That's right.
Mad Dog, our mystery fan out there, who was on the podcast just last week, and a fantastic guy, but still, we don't know who he is. He does remain anonymous. Mad Dog likes to write in topic suggestions and things like that, and then always attaches his own story to the letters he writes into us. So we really appreciate that.
He's a shoemaker in South Korea.
Right, yeah. He stitches together Nikes in a sweatshop.
Yeah. Thanks for the new J's, nigga.
Shit, this Mad Dog motherfucker selling wolf tickets.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so Mad Dog writes, "Dear Cookie and Cream."
So polite.
So polite. I know you guys have previously discussed a bit of a linguistic transition to Australia. So I'm interested in hearing more about times that messages may have been lost in translation by you guys. Therefore, my story is called Lost in Translation.
Nice.
On a trip to Mexico, Peru, and Chile in 2019, I became interested in learning Espanol to maximize the cultural experience. Luckily, I had a small knowledge base to build on, as I randomly happened to previously live with 6 Mexicans on a student exchange program
That's
in
not
my
random.
teen years.
That's just how they live.
Can I just side note?
It-
Okay, and this pertains to the word Jew as well. When I don't know why, when someone says something like, "Yeah, I used to live with 6 Mexicans," why does it sound racist when it's not?
Dude, that's just how it
Because
is.
they're legit. They're Mexicans.
That's
There's
how many
nothing
of them
behind
there
it.
are.
It's just an observation. There's 6 Mexicans in the house,
It
but it's
sounds
the
like
same
start
shit.
to
It's
a bad joke.
yeah, I used to live with 6 Jews, and it's like, wait, is there a joke here? Is he being like racially like what is happening?
Wait a
Anyway,
minute.
I don't know why.
Well, dude, it could the same.
Why does that happen? It sparks a weird phenomenon in my brain.
It goes with any race.
It
'Cause
does.
If I was like, yeah, when I was 21, I lived with 6 white dudes. You'd be like, fucking why?
You're like, wait, is there a punchline
Yeah.
coming?
Was there?
Okay,
Were you
anyway.
held against your will? So yeah, I lived with seven Negroes. Why?
Anyway, so he says, so randomly happened to live previously with 6 Mexicans on a student exchange program in my teen years, but that's a story for another day.
Okay.
I got by pretty well, and my communication skills improved a lot while I was over there. On return to Australia, I decided that I wanted to continue to improve my Spanish skills. So I acquired a Mexican learning partner over WhatsApp to practice with. The idea was that he would help me with Spanish while I would help with his English. We started with some basic pleasantries before my new friend asked me how I had learned to speak basic Spanish. In Spanish, I attempted to explain that I had learned because my family and I had been traveling throughout Mexico, Peru, and Chile and really enjoyed it. It turns out that the Spanish word for travel, viejo, is extremely similar to another word, viejo. This word turns out to have a very different meaning. I have now found out and completely changed the context of my comment. In translation, I told this guy that I had learned Spanish because my family and I had been sexually assaulting all over Mexico, Peru, and Chile, and that we really enjoyed it.
Oh, dude. Come on, bro.
He left the chat immediately and never contacted me again.
Oh, jeez. That's a big fuck up. That's a big fuck up.
Oh, how good.
That's hilarious.
I love it, dude.
Only the Mad Dog could find himself in that kind of situation.
Oh, man, dude.
Via.
Now, I don't personally... again, Mad Dog, again, thank you so much for constantly writing in and taking the time out of your day. It's always entertaining. It's always fun.
Yeah. Now get back in the shop. My delivery's late. I don't give a fuck. COVID delays. Make the shit.
Now, personally, and you know, obviously he likes to suggest topics. Look, I don't personally have a story where, like, I was lost in translation at any point. However, there is one thing I know. Way back in the day at Taco Bell in the States, Wayne, do you remember the day Taco Bell first came out with that taco-like sort of thing called the chalupa?
I remember the chalupa.
Okay, apparently in Spanish, but slang Spanish, chalupa is a double meaning for little dick.
Oh, shit.
So apparently Taco Bell, this is the whole reason they ended up taking the chalupa off of their menu.
Really?
Because I forget who it was. There was a comedian way back, probably 15 years ago, who ended up doing a bit that aired on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Where he talked about the fact that Taco Bell isn't even aware that this word means little dick in slang as like a double meaning in Spanish, and it's on their menu all across the country. So they ended up removing it from their menu after that comedy special aired.
If I was the owner or CEO of Taco Bell, I would have came out with mini chalupas. It just feels like a missed opportunity, man.
We got white chalupa, we got dark chalupa, we got brown chalupa, we even got short chalupa.
Short.
We got chalupa with dipping sauce.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
Now, Liv, have you, just curiosity, have you ever had any situation where you were lost in translation at all? Anything come to mind?
The only thing I can think of, and I don't speak any other languages, But we were traveling New Zealand and North Island. A lot of their towns obviously have names, but it's pronounced like Whakatane. And everyone, like, we were definitely saying it wrong, and everyone was like correcting us, and we were just laughing about it, and it was so inappropriate and so childish, but we just couldn't grasp that. That's the only thing.
That's hilarious.
Otherwise, I just can't speak basic fucking English anyway, so.
I'll tell you this before we start wrapping up to get out of here. You reminded me. Okay, so I've been to New Zealand twice. Now, both of these travels, unfortunately, they were actually not for pleasure. They were for a very serious situation. Do you remember, Liv, in when was this now? 2019.
Yeah.
Do you remember when the White Island, the whole Whakatane thing, when the volcano blew up?
Yeah, I do. We were supposed to go to New Zealand only a few months before that and do that exact tour, and it got cancelled.
Okay, well, I don't know how far back in our podcast you've ever listened, but my father and stepmother were on the island when that happened, and they were severely injured. So I've been to New Zealand because of that, right? And hospital visits, burn units. Anyway, I mean, I'm not going to go too deep into that because that's hours long, but I can relate to you because even in such a serious and like dark situation, I'm in the hospital, and I remember I was like talking to like police and like all these people, right? And this is like the first day we were there. And I remember reading something like out of a statement given by, I don't know, some sort of like authority figure based on like what happened on the island. I can't even really remember, but I remember asking, I was just like, I came to the word and I looked over at like I think it was a police officer. And mind you, this is in the middle of a burn ward. Like, this is in the middle of like the worst fucking situation. Like, there are people like suffering in like the next room, and like it's like terrible. But because I'm such a cynical fuck, I like, even though I was like so shocked, but like I came to that word. I looked over at the nurse and I was like, that's pronounced Whakatane, right? And she was a Maori woman, and she goes, oh no, actually it is pronounced Whakatane. And in the middle of like the worst situation ever, like I didn't know what was gonna happen with my parents. I start giggling. I was just like, I'm like the island is named Whakatane. Like, what is wrong with you people?
Wow.
Like suddenly, I'm just in this like state of mind of like I turn to like my wife who's like in tears, and I'm like, Whakatane, what? Like in the middle of like the
Tiny,
worst
can you believe
shit.
it?
Yeah, dude. Like I just, oh my god, but it's the fact that there's a W at the beginning of the word. If it completely throws you off. So yeah, I have to say I totally relate to being lost in that.
How do you silence a W?
Right. But not only silence the W, just change it to an F. Who cares?
It's literally two letters that they've doubled up. How do you silence it? How do you silence that? Jesus Christ.
What do you think we should call this? Whakatane, right? Nah, just
Whakatane.
Change, just Whakatane. Who cares?
Brother, it's not working out, brother. Well, Whakatane then. Oh, yeah.
That'll do.
Hey, go Whakatane yourself. Ho!
Yeah. It's like, no, I'm just joking. No, I've already etched it into the rock, brother. It's stank. Here's one lost in translation before we go.
Yeah,
right?
Go ahead.
So I'm half German, okay? My mom's German. And when we were little, my brothers and I, always used to get away with saying boob because in German it means boy. So
Seriously?
we would always run around saying "Ich bin ein hübscher Bub," which means I'm a handsome boy. So we got to say boob. We were like 6.
Perfect.
Anyways,
I
we
would
didn't care.
have certainly taken advantage of that as a child.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah.
All right, so before we get out of here,
Okay.
Liv,
Yeah.
is there any sort of last thoughts you want to give about your former occupation? Anyone who's listening who's in something similar or ex-military, ex-police, is there any sort of final thought or advice, anything at all you would like to just sort of expound upon, just for anybody
Anything
listening?
at all.
Anything.
Related or non-related?
Well, firstly, thank you. You guys, again, do an excellent job.
Oh, thanks,
And-
Liv. Appreciate it.
Mike does. I just show up.
Yeah.
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 The only other thing is, yeah, if you guys are feeling down, depressed, and unsure, then don't be afraid to reach out. I know there's a really shitty stigma around, these employments, and just in general, mental health is something that we really need to dive into and discuss a bit more. So don't be afraid to reach out. There are people who understand. There are people out there who are willing and able and happy to help, and everyone has kind of been there. There is no one going through something that no one else has experienced. So don't ever feel isolated. Don't ever feel unloved. Don't ever feel unwanted.
100%.
Well
Couldn't have
put.
said it better.
That's right. Well said.
All right, folks. So, once again, patreon.com/cookieandcreampod. You can support the podcast at that link. It's an all-in-one support link, $2 a month. That's all it takes. It goes way further than you can imagine. We appreciate all the listeners. We appreciate all the support.
Yeah,
Liv,
I have to ask Liv
go.
before we
Yeah.
go though. Is that a gremlin in that case behind you? God damn it! Because I've been seeing that
there?
shit the whole. Yeah, no, in the middle, on the second tier down.
Oh, I see something.
What is
Or
that?
is that wings I'm seeing?
Yeah, is that a gremlin?
Hang on.
Oh, she's going to grab it.
The guys
Okay,
in the
folks, you
podcast
can't
are gonna
see
be like,
this
what the
'cause
fuck
it's
are you
audio,
talking
but-
about?
Is that a gremlin? Oh, but do you see how it could look? It looked like a gremlin.
It did look a bit like Gizmo.
Look, folks. I thought I saw Gizmo in Liv's house. I was concerned for her safety.
Don't feed him after midnight.
Don't feed it after midnight.
Not my cabinet.
Don't get him
That's
wet.
awesome.
Yeah, please don't put him in the
Yeah,
bathtub.
don't.
That's
Don't
not good.
Don't do that. Keep him dirty. But yeah.
That's
All right.
hilarious.
Thank you for clarifying. I would have been staring at my ceiling like, was it or wasn't it?
Would have been up all night.
Jesus.
Oh shit. Yeah, awesome. Liv, thank you so much for coming on and
Yeah, 100%.
you know,
you.
telling your story, and we can tell that, just from what you told us, I know that your story, from what you said, it's still just the tip of the iceberg. I can tell there is a lot going on. So yeah, anyone listening who is in law enforcement, used to be in law enforcement, military, ex-military, whatever it is, or if you just have any occupation where you deal with just some crazy ass shit, hey, man, hang in there, stay strong. You're not alone.
That's right.
And take it from
Hit
Liv.
us up if you need to. Fucking
Hell yeah.
message us, man. We're
Message
on it.
us, come on the podcast, talk about it, get it off your chest.
That's right. Do what you got to do.
Perfect. So, folks, next week we are having a guest on. Get this. We are having a guest on next week, someone I've been in contact with, someone who will always remain nameless. They will remain anonymous. No one will ever know who this person is, and the reason is this. We will be having on a person who spent a handful of years investigating the deep web. The deep web and the dark web, all the wacky stuff that can go on under our noses on the internet, and all the weird stuff that happens all throughout the world on the deep web. We have an investigator on next week.
Dude.
I don't know
That'd be a good
where it's
one.
going to go. I don't know what kind of stories are going to be told. I just have no idea, but I can tell everybody it's going to be real interesting.
Damn it.
So definitely tune in for that one. And, we appreciate your support. We appreciate all the listeners. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Liv.
Thank you so much, Liv.
Awesome.
Thank you guys, and great podcast.
Yes.
All right.
Subscribe.
Absolutely. Like, subscribe, share, support, patreon.com/cookinggreenpod. All right, we're out of here. Peace out.
Bye.